Sophia Loren truly hated him more than anyone. Sophia Loren, born Sophia Ciccoloni on September 20th, 1934 in Rome, was raised in the impoverished town of Pozzuoli near Naples. Her childhood was marked by hardship and deprivation. She grew up amid the turmoil of World War II, frequently seeking shelter during air raids and enduring prolonged hunger. Those difficult years left a deep imprint on her life and forged the extraordinary resilience that would define her character. Despite the poverty and instability surrounding her, young Sophia quickly stood out for her striking beauty and uncommon inner strength. She was a girl who dared to dream beyond her circumstances, often gazing into the distance with a longing to escape the shadows of post-war Italy. The endurance shaped by loss and scarcity became the essential foundation for her rise. Her path to fame began modestly. At just 15, Sophia entered a local beauty contest where her captivating presence caught the attention of film producer Carlo Ponti. He saw more than beauty. He recognized her intelligence, warmth, and natural charisma. Under Ponti's guidance, she began taking on small film roles, gradually evolving before the camera, transforming from a shy, undernourished girl into a confident and mesmerizing screen presence. Their professional partnership soon grew into a deep romantic relationship, one that faced numerous obstacles, including legal complications and social resistance. Despite these challenges, Sophia Loren and Carlo Ponti eventually married and remained deeply devoted to one another for more than 5 decades until Ponti's death in 2007. As her personal life found stability, Loren's rise to international fame was nothing short of meteoric. Her major breakthrough came in the 1950s through Italian cinema, with standout roles in Aida, 1953, and The Gold of Naples, 1954. In these films, her raw talent and emotionally charged performances captivated audiences. What truly set Loren apart was her ability to convey profound feeling through her eyes, gestures, and quiet moments. She represented not just physical beauty, but emotional depth and authenticity, bringing a powerful sense of realism to every character she portrayed. Her transition to Hollywood marked the beginning of a new chapter. Loren quickly became an international sensation, appearing alongside some of the greatest legends in film history, including Cary Grant, Frank Sinatra, Clark Gable, and Marcello Mastroianni. In 1961, her extraordinary performance in Two Women, directed by Vittorio De Sica, earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress. This was a historic achievement. Loren became the first actor ever to win an Oscar for a performance in a foreign language film, firmly establishing her place among the world's most respected actresses. Her portrayal of Cesara, a mother desperately trying to protect her daughter during wartime, revealed an emotional intensity that transcended language and culture. The performance remains one of the most powerful depictions of human suffering and maternal love ever captured on screen. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Loren continued to dominate both European and American cinema, bringing elegance, humor, and sensuality to iconic films such as Marriage Italian Style, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow, Arabesque, and The Millionaires, securing her legacy as one of cinema's greatest enduring stars. Sophia Loren's collaborations with Marcello Mastroianni soon became the stuff of legend. On screen, the two shared an effortless chemistry, romantic, playful, and deeply sincere, that captivated audiences across generations. Loren's presence was impossible to ignore. She radiated dignity and inner strength, remaining unmistakably herself, even as fame surrounded her with constant glamour. As time moved forward, Loren never faded into nostalgia. Instead, she continued to inspire both artists and viewers, proving that age could not dull her purpose or artistic fire. Her later roles in films such as 2009, and The Life Ahead 2020 revealed an actress whose emotional depth had only grown richer with time, reaffirming her status as a true master of her craft. In The Life Ahead, directed by her son Eduardo Ponti, Loren delivered one of the most touching performances of her career. Portraying Madame Rosa, a Holocaust survivor who cares for orphan children, she embodied resilience, compassion, and quiet pain. The role felt like a reflection of her entire life's work, showing strength not through force, but through vulnerability and humanity. Then on September 24, 2023, the world was shaken by troubling news. the legendary Sophia Loren had suffered a serious fall at her home in Switzerland. The beloved Italian icon, long admired for her grace and vitality, was rushed to the hospital after sustaining multiple fractures to her hip and femur. The accident, which occurred at her private residence near Geneva, was described by those close to her as a deeply alarming moment for both her family and devoted fans. Within hours, Loren underwent emergency surgery by a specialized medical team determined to restore her mobility and safeguard the health of a woman whose life had already become part of cinematic history. Sophia Loren's love life has always been inseparable from the name Carlo Ponti Sr., the influential Italian film producer who shaped not only her career, but also the most intimate chapters of her life. Their bond stands as one of the most compelling and enduring romances in the history of world cinema, a story defined by devotion, creative partnership, and a quiet rebellion against the rigid norms of their time. They first crossed paths in 1950 when Sophia was just 15 years old, still taking her earliest steps into beauty contests and small acting opportunities. Carlo Ponti, more than 2 decades her senior and already firmly established in the film industry, immediately sensed something extraordinary in the young girl before him. He saw beyond her inexperience, recognizing a rare combination of beauty, intelligence, and emotional depth. Ponti became her mentor and protector, guiding her through the early and uncertain years of her career. He helped her secure auditions, offered steady encouragement, and carefully shaped her public image, transforming a shy, awkward teenager into a confident and radiant actress destined for international acclaim. Over time, their professional collaboration deepened into a powerful emotional connection built on trust, shared ambition, and genuine affection. Yet their journey toward marriage was anything but simple. Ponti was still legally bound to his first wife, Giuliana Fiastri, and Italy's strict divorce laws made separation nearly impossible without severe legal and moral consequences. The church and the courts both stood firmly against their union. Still, in the face of public controversy and legal barriers, Sophia and Carlo's commitment to one another only grew stronger, proving that their love was not a fleeting passion, but a bond resilient enough to withstand the weight of an unforgiving era. In 1957, Sophia Loren and Carlo Ponti took a daring step by marrying by proxy in Mexico, with lawyers standing in for them during the ceremony. The decision ignited a major scandal in Italy where the marriage was not legally recognized. Under mounting pressure and the threat of bigamy charges, the union was officially annulled in 1962. Yet this legal setback did not weaken their bond. If anything, it strengthened their determination to remain together, defying the rigid social and religious norms of the time. Their love story ultimately prevailed. In 1966, after years of legal battles and personal sacrifice, Carlo Ponti obtained French citizenship. This pivotal move allowed him to legally divorce his first wife and marry Sophia Loren once again, this time in Paris in a ceremony fully recognized by law. This second marriage marked the true beginning of their lifelong partnership, not only as husband and wife, but as creative allies, united by a shared vision. Ponti went on to produce several of Sophia's most celebrated films, including Two Women, 1960, which earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress, and Marriage Italian Style, 1964, both directed by Vittorio De Sica. Together, Sophia and Carlo built an artistic legacy that came to embody Italian elegance, emotional depth, and cinematic excellence on the global stage. Their marriage endured for more than 4 decades, defined by loyalty, mutual respect, and a shared sense of destiny. At a time when many relationships crumbled under the weight of fame, theirs remained remarkably steadfast. They raised 2 sons, Carlo Jr., who became a renowned orchestra conductor, and Eduardo, who followed in his parents' footsteps as a film director, both carrying forward the family's creative legacy. Sophia often referred to Carlo as the great love of her life, crediting him for believing in her when few others did, for giving her confidence, and for shaping her not only into a world-class actress, but into a woman of depth and dignity. When Carlo Ponti passed away in 2007, it left an absence in her life that could never truly be filled. His death marked the end of an era, both personally and professionally. Yet Sophia Loren has continued to honor his memory with grace, frequently speaking of him as the guiding force behind her greatest achievements. Even in her later years, she reflects on their shared journey, the laughter, the struggles, the dreams, and the quiet strength of their companionship. Their story endures as a powerful reminder that love, when built on understanding, artistic harmony, and unwavering commitment, can survive against all odds. Now in her 90s, Sophia Loren remains one of the last living legends of Hollywood's golden age, a timeless symbol of beauty, intelligence, and emotional depth. Over the course of her extraordinary career, she shared the screen with many of the greatest leading men of her generation. Yet one name she rarely spoke of publicly was George Peppard. Only in recent years has she felt ready to reflect on that chapter, offering rare insight into the admiration and the challenges that came with working alongside such a complex and compelling figure. George was always something of a mystery to me, Sophia Loren began softly. He was handsome and immensely talented, but behind his eyes there was a restless sadness, a constant need to prove himself. She recalled first meeting George Peppard in the early 1960s at a time when both of them were at the height of their careers. By then, Loren was already an international star, celebrated for her luminous performances in Two Women, El Cid, and Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. Peppard, meanwhile, had just emerged from the breakthrough success of Breakfast at Tiffany's, establishing himself as one of Hollywood's most promising new leading men. We met at a dinner in Los Angeles, Loren remembered. At first he was quiet, almost reserved, but when he spoke, his voice carried a quiet authority. She could immediately sense that he was a man who had fought hard to be taken seriously. Loren described Peppard as possessing an old-fashioned masculinity, one that was deeply appealing, yet sometimes intimidating. He could be very charming, she said, but he also wore a kind of armor, a pride that made it difficult to truly know him. Their professional relationship, according to Loren, was built on mutual respect, but it was not without tension. George was intensely serious about his craft, she explained. He wanted everything to be perfect, every line, every gesture. That kind of intensity can be beautiful, but it can also be exhausting. When things did not go his way, he could become frustrated. Loren would simply smile at him. I once told him, George, life is not a battlefield. He laughed, but I don't think he ever really believed it. Her laughter at the memory carried a trace of melancholy, as if she were recalling a man who never quite found peace within himself. He longed for recognition, Loren reflected, but at the same time, he pushed people away. That was his contradiction. Sophia Loren spoke with striking honesty about George Peppard's reputation in Hollywood, his relentless perfectionism, his stubborn streak, and a personality that could be difficult to manage. There was a fire inside him, she said. It burned very brightly, but it also burned him. She recalled how Peppard's clashes with studios and fellow actors gradually cost him opportunities that might have elevated his career to even greater heights. He never truly played the Hollywood game, Loren admitted. He wanted to be respected as an artist, not admired simply for his looks, and that I respected deeply. In an industry that often rewards compromise, George refused to bend. Yet her words carried warmth, not judgment. There was a kindness in him that many people never noticed, she added. Between takes, she remembered, Peppard could be unexpectedly gentle. He loved long conversations about literature, politics, and the deeper questions of human existence. He was never superficial, Loren said. His mind was always searching, always questioning. She paused, her voice growing softer. Sometimes I think he was too intelligent for the world he was living in. Hollywood prefers charm over thought. George had both, but he was never at ease with the illusion that surrounded fame. Reflecting on his later years, Loren grew visibly emotional. It saddened me to see how the industry slowly turned its back on him, she confessed. He deserved better. There was a time when he could have stood among the greats, like Brando, like Newman, but life chose a different path for him. Loren suggested that Peppard's struggles with alcohol and his inner demons came from the same restless intensity that once made him so compelling on screen. He wanted truth in everything, she said, and truth can be painful. He carried that pain inside himself. When asked what she would say to George Peppard today if he were still alive, Loren smiled with quiet sadness. I would tell him that he was wonderful, she said, that he didn't need to fight so hard. His talent was already enough. After a long pause, she added softly, "He was a good man, even when he couldn't see it himself." Sophia Loren's reflections offer a rare, intimate glimpse into the shared humanity of two icons, shaped by the same unforgiving world. Her words, filled with wisdom and compassion, reveal not only her admiration for Peppard as an artist, but also her understanding of the vulnerability behind his strength. "We came from different worlds," she concluded, "but I always understood him. Beneath the pride and the struggle was a man who simply wanted to be loved."